Is the Steam Machine going to be an AI casualty? 24 gigabytes of RAM no longer seems viable for a budget PC. I'm not convinced Valve is a big enough manufacturer to have secured supplies at early 2025 prices. If they can't price it below, say, $700, should they simply cancel it?
Wow.
It would be a loss, but perhaps better unreleased than a damp squib that kills demand for such a machine. And we got this one from Lord Jitter Jaeger. Dear DF team, sad news for gaming tech enjoyers. Last week, you discussed the issues surrounding rising RAM prices. Unfortunately, the issue has worsened even further since then. Some analysts now believe this trend could continue for several years. Even consoles are expected to be affected. I'm very excited about the potential fresh of breath air a new Steam Machine could bring to the console market that's become increasingly stale, in my honest opinion. But given the way things are developing, do you think a concept like the Steam Machine would even be viable at this point, unless Valve bites the bullet and heavily subsidizes it with all the risks that entails? Thanks for the great content. I'm enjoying it a lot. ! Alex, well, I don't think they're going to cancel Steam Machine. I suspect that, they've created a piece of hardware, may even be in production right now, which kind of suggests that they would have secured at least some degree of affordable memory. But what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I don't think they're going to cancel it. They've already announced it. What it means for the initial price versus the price in half a year from now, maybe that's the big difference. Maybe the first models are actually cheaper, which would be somewhat of a rarity in that like finished box kind of realm. Obviously with GPUs, it's been like that. So that would be surprising. I don't know. I'm really wondering what the heck is going to happen if this memory issue continues, and I don't see why it wouldn't continue given the trajectory of everything in our world, because it just makes things like consoles completely unaffordable at some point. They don't hit their price bracket that makes them a mass consumer good. Same thing applies to PCs and things that are trying to be console-like, the Steam Machine. So in general, I'm just at an absolute loss what the computer entertainment industry does when this continues as it does.
Yeah, we've also got this question from the great Jumanji. Greetings, ! Given that PlayStation 6 is presumably targeting 2027, do you think the system's memory configuration will be affected by the current cost explosion? I would hope that the PS6 will have more than 16 gigabytes of RAM, but the outlook for the near future seems bleak, and 2027 is right around the corner. It is a concern for console manufacturers, right, John?
Yeah, so this obviously, as you just pointed out, and I wasn't even aware of, that there's predictions that these RAM problems can persist for years to come. You better believe that this kind of thing would have an impact on any future hardware these game companies are going to sell, right? Like, they're in that planning phase. They wouldn't have bought all of the memory necessarily required by now. So this is going to affect that. And I do wonder if it might actually influence some of their decisions as far as how much memory is included in the box, right? Because we're already expecting something like a PlayStation 6 to be quite expensive.
Yeah.
And the RAM prices, I mean, we're talking like 3 times the price here. Like, I was surprised to see things like sets of RAM that used to go for like $100 to $120 or like $400 or $500.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. And they're not going to be immune to that, just like everybody else. So I'm genuinely unsure what any of this is going to mean for upcoming hardware. Not just the PS6. There's the handheld as well, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on. Plus, this kind of hits right as Nintendo is like really ramped up Switch 2, and it's selling big. How much RAM do you think they have? I mean, I'm sure they've stockpiled a good amount, I would hope.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be enough to last for years. So this is a serious problem.
Yeah,
sure.
I think one thing to bear in mind is that the cost price is something that we don't know, but it's not stopping retail from basically tapping into the fear of missing out and just basically ramping up prices by like at least 100%. That's a bit of a problem, right? That's not great. And Yeah, there's also been rumors this week that NVIDIA has stopped supplying its GPU dies with memory, which was typically the case.
Oh, boy.
And instead basically saying, hey, guys, you're on your own. As to whether that's true or not, I don't know. One thing I will say, of course, is that there's a huge amount of rumors in the PC space that basically never turn out to be true. But obviously there is an issue. There is going to be an issue with this.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking at Amazon now, I mean, last week the prices were, I'd describe them as inflated. They have got higher. You're looking at like, cheapest I could see is £222 for 32 gigs of CL36.
That's crazy.
That's horrendous.
For the longest time, your RAM was maybe akin to a mid-range motherboard in price. Like it was not the largest consideration of your PC build, and having it taking up such a large portion of that is just absurd. I mean, they're probably being a little bit worried on the PlayStation side about that, because they have more of a margin, but I'm wondering if Xbox just is like, it's going to be over 1,000 anyway. Who cares?
Yeah.
I'm really wondering, because they're out of the market already as is. So like, I'm curious to see what if this even moves the needle for them that much.
The other thing is good memory. I mean, 6,000 mega transfers per second memory. Like CL30 seems to be like £100 more expensive than CL36. It's just,
this is the way it is.
That's just really, really annoying and frustrating.